Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am starting this because over the years I have accumulated such a vast amount of resources as far as personal development, psychology, spirituality, health and wellness. So this is kind of like me trying to organize all of that and hopefully help somebody else who's looking for that information too. So with that being said, I wanted to talk today about 3 things that you can do to get yourself from a place of being stuck to unstuck, or to a place of being thriving again. So when you're stuck, this is a very common thing, that because you're stuck, you don't know what to do or how to kind of get yourself out. You're just in this state of inertia where you don't know what to do, because if you knew what to do, you wouldn't be stuck. And you're not really getting anywhere with what you're doing. And so it means that what you're attempting to do is not really working, so you kind of have to shift things a little bit. But there are 3 things that I think that are going to be really helpful to get you to the next level. So number 1, in my experience, the most effective way of getting myself to a place where I'm feeling kind of negative or stuck or just not in a place where I want to be is to really check in with where my positive, so how is my self-talk? So changing it from a place where I'm just letting my thoughts go on autopilot to really paying attention to what's going through my mind. But even that is not enough. I found that it's not just enough to be mindful of my thoughts, but I have to actively change from a more negative automatic thinking, which is just continually going, which I'm not really as aware of. That's just kind of like it's background noise. And what I will do is start saying positive things. I have to do it out loud, because that's what I found is that's the only way to drown out the noise of this habitual thinking. And this habitual thinking, you know, you get used to it, so it feels kind of neutral, but it's actually it's probably more negative than you think it is, because you're just used to it. And if it were that positive or neutral, you might be in maybe a more positive or neutral place, you know. So it's a reflection. What your circumstances are a reflection of what's going on in your mind. So if your external environment is not what you want it to be, it means that you do have to increase the level of positivity going on in your mind. And the best way to do that is to do positive self-talk. So the easiest way to do this, I find 2 places to do positive self-talk very effective. Number 1 is driving in my car, because I can talk out loud and nobody's going to hear me, and there's not really a whole lot of distractions, and there's enough of my brain that is being occupied by driving that I'm not kind of going into autopilot, getting distracted with other things. And so I'll just say things, you know, I'll talk to myself out loud. I will work through things in a more positive way. I'll, like, you know, maybe compliment myself, or, you know, make a list of how things are going great. Just general positive things that, like, maybe your therapist might say to you. And I'll have to verbally, like, say them out loud. And that really helps. The second place that I find this to be very effective is when I'm doing dishes, because again, I think that there's a certain amount of being busy with something where your mind doesn't get too distracted, and so I have to really focus, but then I just say positive things to myself out loud. You know, things are going great. Look how great things are going. You did this really good today. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. Those kinds of things. And then kind of like, you know, working with that. Sometimes though, if I'm too tired or it just feels like too much of an effort, I have to switch to having someone else talk to me and having that positive talk going on in my mind coming from an external source. So for that, I will listen to motivational books or personalities. Sometimes that's helpful. You just want to flood your brain with positivity. So that's number one. The number 2 tip for getting yourself into a more flowy state, out of this stuck state, into a positive space, is to live in the more positive version of your life. We can get distracted by all the negative things that are happening in our current life situation. And I think I may have learned part of this. I mean, it's coming from multiple different sources, but one of them that has been very helpful is Abraham Hicks. So she talks about the concept of this vortex. So the idea of the vortex is that your life, you're walking through, your experiences and saying, on some level, a subconscious level, yes, I like this. No, I don't like this. I like this. I don't like this. And you're collecting all this data about what you do like and what you don't like. And the idea is that the things that you do like are in this kind of field, a vortex of like everything that you like and that you want for your life are in this field, in this vortex, waiting for you, sometime in the future, if you can reach that, the vibrational state that aligns with all the things that you want. And that's the goal, is to get yourself into the state of mind, the vibrational state that aligns with all of the things that you want. Throughout your entire life, you've been collecting this data about how you want your life to be. And all of that is in the vortex. So your ideal life is in the vortex. So instead of paying attention to what is happening in your life, maybe you have some difficulties or some obstacles, some problems, don't get distracted by that. That's pulling you down. Constantly think about what's in your vortex. Think about what's in your vortex as if it is happening, it already exists right now, which is kind of an abstract way of thinking, but I have felt that is very helpful to me, knowing that these things that are these problems that are happening are just temporary and maybe almost illusory, and most of my attention is in this vortex of like, isn't it going to be great when this happens? And there's a lot more information about that if you go to Abraham Hicks, and I'll attach a link so that you have that information. But Abraham Hicks has that idea, and then also I was working with a therapist at one point who she was very into law of attraction and positive thinking and that kind of thing. And every time I was talking about something that was negative, she encouraged me to catch that and be like, okay, that negativity, that is Mara, which is, in Buddhism, is the idea of illusion or obstacles. It might be somewhat analogous to like the Christian idea of like the devil or sin. It's negativity, right? So, and Mara is like this just kind of like negative spirit that visited the Buddha when he was trying to become enlightened. and he was sitting under the Bodhi tree and meditating for a long period of time, and then Mara came and was distracting him and trying to convince him that he was not going to be able to be enlightened. So he had to overcome Mara, and basically the way that he did that was to spot Mara and not be too distracted. In other words, not believe the negativity, not buy into it. So basically, oh, I see you for who you are, but I'm not afraid of you, So she would encourage me, my therapist would be like, okay, I see you, Mara, and you can be there, but I'm going to try to switch my attention to something, to what I want. What do I want in my life? Yes, I have all these problems. Okay, I see that that's the illusion, the problems, Mara. So I'm going to switch my attention to what do I want. And the idea is that through switching our attention, certain negative things can sometimes resolve themselves. And there's a lot of other reasons for that, but it does really help to focus more on maybe the positive version of your life that you hope and have faith that will come to you. And that's how through law of attraction you can shift your life from these problems that you have in your immediate environment to what you actually want. You will get on that frequency. And so the idea is not being disturbed by this negativity. So the idea is not being disturbed by the negativity. That's really the trick. And when you're disturbed, when you're upset, when you're fearful of the negativity, that's when it creates a loop and it keeps going. So the idea is to undo the loop, to neutralize that negative spiral that happens. And one way is to just let it be and then shift your mind to this more positive version. And things do tend to resolve themselves. Another way of looking at that is there is someone called Neville Goddard, and I think he's from maybe the early 1900s, wrote a lot about law of attraction and the power of the mind, and he talks about a concept called the bridge of incidence. And what this is when you set an intention for something to change in your life and you want to bring in something positive, there's going to be a bridge of incidence. So in other words, a gap between where things are right now and then where you want it to be. And time and reality has to kind of catch up to that. And he says that some of the things that you see in your reality now that are negative are almost like artifacts of negative things that you attracted from seeds, negative seeds that you planted a long time ago. So if you are trying to manifest something and you're still seeing negative things pop up in your life, this is not necessarily an indication that your life is out of control and you don't know how to bring, positive things in, and nothing necessarily to get upset about, because you may have planted a bunch of seeds long ago and it takes time for them to grow and ripen and then turn into fruit, and maybe those are fruiting now. So you just have to kind of let that be, let it expire, and just not plant any more negative seeds. hopefully you're planting new positive seeds. But the whole idea is not being distracted with the negative things that are happening in your life right now. So in summary, number 2 is paying more attention to the version of your life that you want to experience, your vortex, living more in that sphere than the immediate environment and all the problems that you see, your obstacles, trying to problem solve this immediate environment right now. And the number 3 tip for getting yourself unstuck into a more movement flowy state is small acts of self-care, taking care of yourself, and recording it, journaling it. I have found that this is so helpful for me. Even little things like, okay, I did the dishes today, I did some cleaning today. All these little things, if I write them down, it sounds so simple, but it really does help me to look at it. And at the end of the day, I have this long list of all these positive things that I've done for myself. And that's like, okay, well, like, there was some movement today, there was some forward momentum. And the idea is just to become 1% better than you were yesterday. So you don't have to have like these huge goals. Actually, that's not very helpful, right? Because you become overwhelmed. So just write down in a journal, and throughout your day, write it down, all the little things that you're doing for yourself, whether this is just getting things done, accomplishments, small acts of self-care, tending to your inner child, everything that's taking you, everything that's positive really that you are doing, that's creating a forward momentum, will help you to feel like there's movement in your life and you are not so stuck. So those are 3 things that have really helped me, and I hope you get some benefit out of them. If you have any suggestions of your own, other than the 3 that I've listed, please comment and let me know what they are. And if you've tried any of these yourself and gotten results either way, let me know. I think it would be interesting to have a discussion about this. So I hope you got something out of it. Take care of yourself, love yourself, and I'll see you next time.